Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, we were discussing the problem of evil just 2 weeks before. And today, Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga, Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga, based on that, chapter 5, the Maya and freedom, we will be discussing. Regarding Maya, already 1 or 2 lectures we had discussed, no doubt. So today, Swamiji, in this chapter, he discusses the practical aspects, or taking the example of our day to day life incidents or experiences, he tries to explain the concept of Maya. Before getting into it, I would like to probably discuss from the non dualistic philosophy point of view what is Maya. First and foremost, if you see the non dualistic philosophy, the Advaita philosophy explains or defines the Maya as the power of Brahman. The power of Brahman is what Maya. So, from the cosmic point of view, from the Brahman point of view, it is the power of the God. It is the power of the Supreme Self, or it is the power of the Brahman, which cannot be separated from the Brahman or from the Supreme Self. Now, from the Jivatma, the embodied self point of view, this Maya is designated as, or the Maya is known as Ajnana, that is the ignorance. Now, the question may come, of course, not only for you or for me, even in centuries, many philosophers have questioned, why do we need Maya at all? Why do we need this concept of Maya at all? Why? Because when we read Upanishads or when we read Advaita philosophy, they more or less they define what is Brahman or what is the self or what is the consciousness. And about the Maya, they can't clearly define what it is actually. And they accept it also. Then many people they argue or they question, then why did you bring this concept of Maya? Or why do we need this Maya at all? And from the historical point of view, if you see, after the post Shankara, the people accused Advaitins for this Maya concept, and most of the Advaitins they spent their time and energy to give a shape for this Maya. Instead of becoming a Brahmavadins, they became a Mayavadins. Anyhow, now why do we need Maya? However, we say that my real nature is Satchidananda, consciousness, existence, bliss, absolute. And I am neither the body, nor the mind, nor the intellect. And I don't have any birth, and I don't have a death. I am the eternal self. The Upanishad says, explains time and again. After hearing all these things, the question may linger in our mind. Well, yes, makes sense. But then what about this, my life? What about this empirical world which I'm experiencing day in and day out? What is the way? How do we explain? Or what is the reason, cause for this? The problem comes, though how much ever we say that the world is only projection of Brahman, it is only projection, there was never creation, etc. But still we ask, human mind asks, what is the cause for this universe and its existence? So then the Advaitins have to bring the role of the Maya, and they started explaining what is Maya, and how the Brahman, with its power of Maya, how the Brahman is projecting the universe. So the theory of causation, for the explanation of the theory of causation, they have to bring the Maya. Of course, it is there. It is not just hypothetical or it is not imagined. To explain it, what is the necessity? To explain the theory of causation. Now, based on the Advaitins' point of view, they explain one is the power of Brahman is what Maya. And how do they define it? They say it is Trigunatmika Prakriti. The Maya consists of three gunas: Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. And when it comes to Kashmir Shaivism or Tantras, and in the qualified Manoism, that is Vishishtadvaita, the Maya takes the power of goddesses, Shakti. And beautifully, in the introduction to Brahma Sutra, that is the logical treatise on of the Vedanta, in the introduction, Adi Shankaracharya beautifully discusses about the Maya. He tells that, he explains beautifully what is the problem, what is the philosophical problem in explaining the Maya. He says, we cannot say the Maya exists or the ignorance exists. Why? Because for Advaitins, if anything has to be existing, then it has to be Trikala Abadhita Satya. Means past, present, and future. All these three times, it has to exist. Now, once the ignorance is removed, or the moment I experience the self, then this Maya, the magical power of the Brahman, or the ignorance is removed or destroyed. Just like the serpent, the rope is appearing as a serpent. The rope was appearing as a serpent because of whatever the reason. I was getting fear, I shouted, all these things. The moment some person brought the torch light, and when he put the light on the rope, then he said, oh, it is a rope, my dear, it is not the snake. Then my ignorance is removed, then the snake disappears, then rope alone. So we cannot say really the Maya exists or the ignorance exists. Then okay, then you say that it won't exist. It doesn't exist. Then you accept if you say no. Because at given point of time, we had that experience. We had the experience of rope, snake in the rope. At the given point of time, we are experiencing this dualistic empirical world. So we cannot say completely that it is asat or it doesn't exist at all. Then it is neither sat nor it is asat. Neither it is existed, nor we cannot say that it doesn't exist. Then what do you say? How do you define? Then Shankaracharya, the philosopher, he says that it is anirvachaniya. We cannot explain what it is. It is indescribable. That's what Adi Shankara says. Now, when we listen and when we read all these things, we feel sometimes very difficult. And sometimes these things goes above the head also. So probably understanding our problems, Swami Vivekananda, he has tried to explain this concept of Maya by taking the example of day-to-day life. Like our day-to-day experiences, the life we face, and the people we love, the people we hate, and we struggle in the life from dawn to dusk or from birth to death. All these examples he has taken, and he is trying to explain, okay, so this is Maya, which you are experiencing. Are you already in that? And you are experiencing, probably you are not aware of it. So he different variations which we are experiencing, which are that he explains, and beautifully he synthesizes that all our struggles is going to end, are going to merge in the freedom, which is called moksha or mukti or liberation. Then he takes a wonderful example analysis. He says, look, natural forces are so beautiful. You say thunder, lightning, or even the air or the weather. So many examples we can take. Gravitational force, for an example. So the natural forces, the nature is wonderful. And when we think, when we observe, we all feel very happy. And if a scientist discovers a force, a natural force, he feels very proud. He may get Nobel Prize also for that matter. And he thinks that is the cream of the society. And we do also probably acknowledge that. Then Swami Vivekananda marks at it and he says that all these are definitely they have got a power, no doubt, but they are insentient and they are dull. And the human being is discovering them and is also trying to reproduce them. So, like in a laboratory, I'm trying to produce thunder, produce lightning, whatnot, produce oxygen or whatever. So by trying this, he feels that is very great. He is trying to imitate the nature, dull and which is insentient. Though he himself is a consciousness, but is trying to imitate the insentient. This is what nothing but Maya. Now, Swami is not undermining the science. Swami is not undermining the scientific discoveries. He himself has encouraged a lot of scientists, like Nikola Tesla. Tesla also, he came and he discussed with Swamiji and he got a lot of ideas based on Swami Vivekananda's exposition of Sankhya philosophy. So Swami Vivekananda is not undermining any of the scientific discoveries, only is telling that how the Maya is. So our real nature is consciousness, but we are trying to imitate the nature which is insentient or which is just mere matter and which is mere force. And I am beyond that and I am much more than that. Now the second example Swamiji takes that. As we all know that our real nature, my real inherent nature is what? The self. I am neither the physical body, nor the subtle body, nor the causal body, not even the mind, intellect, emotions, feelings, so on, so on and so forth. But still, knowing I am becoming the slave of the mind, I have become the slave of the senses, I become the slave of the emotions. Oh, what happened to you? Oh, Swami, I am feeling very morose. I am feeling morose. Actually, who is feeling morose? I am feeling morose. Are you yesterday heard the Vedanta lecture? Yes, Swami. Then you are the self. Yes. When you are the self, you cannot be morose. You are blissful in nature. That makes sense. But so your mind is experiencing the feeling that morose or happiness, unhappiness, or whatever. But unfortunately, I am thinking that I am morose, or I am motivated, or I am agitated. Knowingly that I am the self, but still I am following the mind and the senses, and I am I have got caught between this mesh of the sense or intellect or mind or all the dualities. So knowing the truth, but still I have been stuck in all these dualities. That's what this is also Maya. So basically, I have trapped in this dual circle, or in the circle of dualities, or in the group of dualities. This is what Maya. How beautiful, how interesting. That's what Swami says that. And he also says that. And we are trying to go and find the happiness in the sense pleasures. Now, for an example, in the Upanishads, Taittiriya Upanishad says that the amount of happiness, whatever you get from the senses, and you get 10 times, 100 times more from the mind, 100 times more in intellect, 100 times are the eternal happiness comes the moment I know who am I. Similarly, they give you example. Like if you have got a good health and you have got a fit body and you have got a good family and you are living for 100 years. So whatever happiness you get, then 10 times or 100 times is more in the Pitraloka, the world or the universe where the forefathers are staying. Then 100 times more the Svargaloka or the heaven. Then 100 times more in Gandharva Loka. The 100 times more in Brahma Loka. And when you attain yourself and there is no limit for your bliss and you don't come at all. Brahmananda Mimamsa. That's what in Taittiriya Upanishad it comes. We know all these things, but still we go behind senses. Sense gratification, what we all see. Today, social media. Today, a lot of workshops are happening. How to get away from the mobile, how to get away from the social media, how to get away from the WhatsApp and whatnot. we found, we discovered for our use, and we have been trapped into all these things. So this is what Maya, so that's what Swami is saying. This idea is beautifully told in Upanishad. Paranchikani vetrunat swayambhu parang pashyati antaratman kaschid dhiragatmana maikshat avrutta chakshur amrutatvam. The senses are continuously going out to enjoy the sense objects, and they are giving the distorted image for us. So Kaschid Dhira, there are very few Dhiras who are the real people who have got real wisdom. Kaschid Dhira Gatmana Maikshatu. They withdraw their mind and senses. Then Avrutta Chakshuhu. They go inward. They draw themselves inward. Avrutta Chakshur. Amrutatva Icchan. So they desire the immortality, and they get indrawn themselves. There are very few people. And even in Brodhanika Upanishad, they say that Atmastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. I love husband, I love wife, I love children, I love things, I love this and that or whatnot. Everything is what? For the sake of the self. Not because I'm loving wife, not for wife's sake, it is because for the self. I'm loving a particular thing. Why? Because it is not for thing, it is because for the self sake. Just morning today, when I was discussing with a particular aspirant, I was telling this. For an example, rasgulla or a type of sweet, because she is very fond of the sweet. I said, fine. So when you eat rasgulla, what happens? She said that I enjoy. I experience the joy, she said. Fine. The joy is in rasgulla? She said, yes. Initially, she said yes. Then I asked, please think a little bit. Then she took a while and she said, no, the joy is not in rasgulla. The joy is where? The joy is in your mind. Fine. Even not true. The joy is yourself. So your joy is reflected through your mind, and it's superimposed on the rasgulla. And when we eat rasgulla, a sweet, we think that the rasgulla is giving a joy for me. That's what the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says. So the everything, every person, whether he is giving happiness or unhappiness, we are superimposing, and we are struggling, and we are suffering, or we are experiencing the joy or whatever. So our real nature is what? Bliss. But unfortunately, we are superimposing the bliss on the things, and we are struggling to get which is not there at all. In the rasgulla, there is no joy. Only because I like it, so I enjoy it. For example, when I joined a monastery, a lot of the monks, they used to eat bitter gourd. When I saw that, I felt very bad. Bitter gourd, so bitter, and they're eating like a chocolate. They said it is so nice, so delicious, so tasty. And I said, fine. In bitter gourd, what can be the taste other than bitter? But see, now they were enjoying the bitter gourd, bitter, which is in nature, but they felt that there is a joy in that. Now, for me, it was a punishment rather, probably eating the bitter gourd. So, like this, for anything you take, the joy is not in the thing itself, the joy is in me. I am superimposing. But unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, we are going beyond the world, and its things are on the people searching for happiness. This is what the Maya. So the whole of our life journey has been beautifully placed by Swami Vivekananda for us. Now, for example, I like some black chocolate or Snickers chocolate. So there is really joy in that. Yes, when I eat it, I feel so happy. But no, I am superimposing in them. The chocolate doesn't have happiness. Only I am superimposing the happiness in the chocolate. So the entire creation is what? Because of the mind superimposition. So neither it is good nor it is bad. It is all my perception, or it is all because of my superimposition. Something exists, no doubt. We don't say that just like otherwise it becomes the Shunyavada or Vijnanavada of Buddhism. Something exists, no doubt. But we are coloring them. There is something exists. And along with that, we color it through our mind lens, and we are experiencing the thing. This is what Maya. And in the absolute and manifestation, Swamiji discusses beautifully these things. We will go in detail then. And now I am the knowledge in essence itself. Sat, Chit, Ananda, existence, Awareness or consciousness or knowledge and bliss absolute is my real nature. Now I am struggling to exist. Theory of alienation, the problem of insecurity, the problem of alienation is too much for all of us. For example, when even small children, if you see, now three or four children are there. You spoke with all of them fine, but with one girl, with one boy, not intentionally, but you spoke little less with them for some reason, or even if there may not be any reason. So she will start feeling shy. She will start feeling morose. Oh, this uncle or auntie didn't speak with me properly. So she's thinking bad about me. Or am I wrong? Problem of insecurity. So this problem of insecurity and then problem of alienation is there in the whole of our life. Why? Because our real nature is existence, Sat, but I am trying to see that existence in the external world and its manifestation. Similarly, Swamiji takes the example of the knowledge here. Your real nature is what the knowledge itself, awareness itself, consciousness itself. But you are the whole life, you are trying to find the knowledge of something else. Swamiji, beautiful in Karma Yoga, first chapter, knowledge is inherent in man. We cannot teach anyone actually. Only we can help them to know themselves or to remove the ignorance, that's all. Either the knowledge about maths or science or physics or philosophy or metaphysics or about spirit or meditation, whatever it may be. All the types of knowledge or branches of knowledge exist in oneself. Only we are trying to remove the veil of ignorance. That's all. That's why the teachers, the modern education system, they are using the word, they're replacing the word teacher for the facilitator. So the teacher facilitates for the manifestation of the knowledge, that's all. He or she cannot really teach. Now, Swamiji taking this as a background, he says that my real nature is knowledge, but the whole of my life, I am trying to find the knowledge of something. Knowledge of sky, knowledge of space, knowledge of maybe electromagnetic spectrum, knowledge of maybe dishes. So my real nature is knowledge, but always knowledge of something. My whole life, I'm struggling, I'm struggling, I'm struggling. Again, Swamiji is not telling that we should not go behind all these things, but this is what Maya, Swamiji is trying to tell. So at every moment, we are trying to know knowledge of something. Even one of the Sanskrit Subhashita says that even the most dullest fellow in the world, even he doesn't like to be called as a fool. He thinks that he's intelligent and he likes to be called as an intelligent. Why? Because our inherent nature is what? Consciousness. But unfortunately, we are trying to find out that knowledge or consciousness or awareness with respect to world and its objects. This is what Maya. And also, one more beautiful thing he tells Swamiji, that my inherent nature is what? Freedom. I as the self, I as a book, I'm always free person. I'm never bound actually. I was never bound, I am never bound, and I will be never bound. Fine, it is all fine to say. It is all fine to explain. But one speech or one sentence from someone and from one message, either in the WhatsApp or in the other message, can disturb our mind, can go, all this Vedanta can fly off. Means we are bound by the senses or by this Namarupatmaka Jagat, Swamiji says. That is the manifested world, the space and the time world, we are bound at every moment we can experience. How much ever we discuss, how much ever we proclaim, how much ever we shout that I am free, I am Nitya, I am Shuddha, I am Buddha, I am Mukta, I am Ananda Swarupi. We all say that, but next moment, I feel that if you think lately, I am bound by this time and space causation. I experience that I am bound by time and space causation. I am bound by situations. I am bound by emotions. I am bound by people's reactions. I am bound by own samskaras or tendencies. This is what Maya. Though I am free, eternally I am free person, but my experience at this given point of time is what? I am bound, I am bound, I am bound. So this is what Maya. And Swami Vivekananda explains a beautiful story which from Bhagavata. I think this story has been told already two times for me. That Narada, once he asked Krishna, that kindly explain or show me or make me experience what is Maya. Now, Krishna says, better not. It is too, risky, better not. But Narada insists, no, my Lord, please let me have the experience of this Maya. Then Krishna says, all right, come with me. So both are going, walking in the desert. After some walking, Krishna started feeling, experiencing the thirst. Then Krishna says, Narada, I'm feeling so much thirsty. I will sit here. Will you go and get me some water? Narada says, yes, my Lord. And Krishna stays back, and Narada goes, maybe a kilometer or whatever. There is a small well. Then a young lady was drawing the water from the well. Then he asked some water. He was also thirsty. She gave. And while drinking the water, when he saw that young lady, he got attracted towards her. Then Narada approaches her and he asked directly, will you marry me? I like you. Then she says that I don't have any problem. You come and ask my father. If father agrees, I don't have any problem. Narada was happy. Narada goes and he approaches her father. Father also agrees. Both of them they marry, and Narada settles in their house. Then slowly there are two, three children were born, and they are growing to 12, 10, 12 years old. One fine day, there was a hurricane probably. Hurricane, by the time his father-in-law has passed away, then the house got flied off. Then there's everywhere water or whatever, huge water source. Then he, with difficulty, he was holding his wife and two, three children, and they were coming. In between, somewhere they were struck, and there was so much wind and water force and all. Somewhere he had to leave. Then wife left. Wife was washed away in the water current. Oh, he was crying. Oh, my life, wife left. My wife left. Okay, somehow he's trying to hold on to his two, three children. Then after some time, one more son left. Then he was crying, daughter left. Again, he was crying, one more son also left. Now he's all alone. Then by the time the wind force and the water current also had been reduced, he came and he sat and he was crying bitterly because the whole family has washed out and no one now is alone. Then Krishna comes back and asks, Narada, I asked you for water. I was waiting for 1 hour. Where did you go? What happened to you? Narada turns back and says, what? 1 hour? 12 years over all my family, everything, and you're saying 1 hour? Narada didn't understand. Then Krishna says, see, this is what Maya. So our experience, day-to-day experience, we feel so many things. This is as if it is true, but it is not so. It is all Maya, illusion, or it is a wrong understanding or a misconception. Every day, our day-to-day experiences, when we take it for, though we take it for granted, but this is what Maya, Swami Vivekananda is explaining. And he goes to the extent, of course, just make a mention, I'll go, in fear of explaining this. He says, parents' love towards the children, and especially mother's love towards their son or a daughter also, comes under the Maya. And Swamiji brings a beautiful idea again, philosophical idea now. Time is the avenger of everything. So many things comes and so many things goes in the time. Rome, once upon a time, the major part of the world ruled by Romans. Then Greeks ruled, and Mesopotamians to some part, or Egyptians, Ottoman Empire, and India. So many empires came, and they all came. They had a big palaces, big masons, then forts. Now, if you see, most of them are reduced into the dust. So many people came and went. So many kings and queens, they came and they ruled the world, especially Egypt kings and all. They felt as if they live eternally, but they are no more. And even in India also is full of rich mythology. So many people came and so many people left. But knowing all these things, we try to build the thing as if we are living eternally. This is what Maya, according to the Swamiji. So he is giving different types of examples and is trying to explain what is Maya from our day-to-day experience. Now, obviously, the problem can happen now is we may become despair, we may become negative, we may become pessimistic. Oh, the whole world is with full of problems, difficulties, and it is Maya, it is not real. Then why should I bother? Then what is the way out? I may think philosophically, then okay, I'm sinking in the bottomless well. People may think seriously, think about all these things, they may think also. Then Swamiji comes. No, don't be despair by knowing all these things. Now there are two views. The world is a prison. So we are being bound. So we have to get out from this. That's the one thing. And the second is the whole world is just the playground. The whole world is a playground. We are all players. Let me play, let me enjoy, and let me come out. Just once we go and we enjoy the play or we play and we come out. So similarly, this world is a playground. One you can take the world is a prison like, and it is with full of realities. Let me quickly, as much as possible, work out or do spiritual sadhana and come out from this. This is one view. The other view is the world is a wonderful playground. Let me play and let me come out, as taking the role of the witness. No doubt, we are all bound at this given point of time, but there is always a positive hope. Now, what is that positive hope? Swamiji says that the positive hope is we are divine. We are the self, not the body and mind, neither this world and its objects. We are the self. And the more and more we understand and experience, then we are free persons. And he says that all these struggles, all these difficulties we are experiencing in the life and etc., everything is going towards the one goal, that is for the freedom. So Swamiji, he ends this Maya concept in the freedom. And he explains. We are undergoing a lot of challenges. We are experiencing a lot of challenges. We are undergoing a lot of changes. We are progressing in a particular path, no doubt. Knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, we are all marching towards that eternal freedom. That is what, by experiencing the divine, we can be free, and we are all marching towards that freedom. And he says, the saint or the spiritual personality, he is aware of that. He has taken the straight path, which is tedious or which is maybe difficult, but he has taken the straight path and is going directly towards that. That is towards the freedom or towards the experience of the divinity. Now, the sinner is also going towards it, but unconsciously in the opposite direction. But somehow or other, today or tomorrow, he will come and meet the eternal point. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. So that means every one of us, we are marching towards the freedom. The moment you know, if you are conscious, then the progress will be quicker. That is what the thing Swami Vivekananda is telling. And here he also brings the God's rescue or God's grace. Because this Maya has got a tremendous power. And he quotes the Bhagavad Gita sloka, often quoted sloka. Daivi hesha gunamayi mamamaya duratteya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. The power of the Brahman, which is called Maya, it is very difficult to cross over. If we take the refuge at the feet of the Lord helps us to come out from this. So you can take the help of the God. Now, why do we need divine grace? The divine grace and the self-effort. Of course, already we have discussed this. Just I would like to mention. How means it is just like we can take the earth and the seed. Now you have kept the seed on the door. Seed you have kept for years together, no use. But if you bring the seed and if you dig a small hole or dig the ground, and if you sow the seed, if you water it little, what happens? In few days, it sprouts and it becomes a plant or a creeper or a tree or whatever is supposed to, based on its capacity, inherent capacity. So now, the seed and the earth can be compared. One is grace, the other is self-effort. The self-effort and the divine grace, if both goes hand in hand, then what happens? Just like the seed and the earth, when it comes into contact both, just like the sprouts, it happen. A plant emerges. So similarly, we do get the fruit That is what the liberation or the getting out from this Maya. So we need divine grace and the self effort both hand in hand together at the initial stage. When our ego gets ripened, when we understand the limitations of the mind and intellect, and when we can surrender completely to the God, then we can say everything is God's will. Otherwise, we can't say. From the Jnani's point of view, this is from Bhaktas, from the devotee's point of view. From the Bhakta's point of view, it will be like everything is the nature of the Prakriti. The mind and the senses and the body is performing its actions. I am free from that. I am not attached to any of these things. That is from the Jnani's point of view. Being an awareness, being a witness, you can work. We can take either any stand, but only we have to attain the freedom. And he brings the religion here and he explains what is religion. Religion is nothing but the struggling for freedom. Again, he's explaining that religion is realization. So struggling for freedom is what religion. And he also says religion begins with a tremendous dissatisfaction about our present stage and about the things which is there in and around us. So sometimes as a spiritual aspirant, this problem is very inherent in most of us. When we start our spiritual practices, for some time it's okay. After some time, we start feeling, I'm not progressing in meditation. I'm not progressing in spiritual life. Whatever I do, how much ever I do, I feel that I am not progressing in spiritual life. We may think that, or we may feel that, and tremendous dissatisfaction may come. If it is so, it is good, they say, all the senior monks and the spiritual luminaries. Why? Because of this dissatisfaction, it helps us to progress in our life. So Swami is telling, if you're dissatisfied with these worldly things, with the world and its things at the given point of time, then only you can go further in the spiritual progress. If you're happy with these things, definitely you don't strive for God realization or you don't strive for self-realization. There are many people who have accepted this world and its dualities. Out of helplessness, they have accepted. That's why they don't think of spirituality or God realization or self-realization. Some, okay, there are some problems, but still there are some good things, or there's some joy or momentary joy. So they are also okay with the world and things. So they also don't take the path of spirituality. The moment when we are dissatisfied with this world and its objects, or about the present situation wherever I am, the moment when I get that dissatisfaction, then only religion starts for me, or the spiritual path, spiritual progress starts for me. This is also very important point for all of us. Then he brings the role of the determinism or determination. In the Buddha, he took the strong resolve. Whatever it may happen to this body, but till experiencing the truth, the final truth, I will not get away from this place. Taking the firm resolve, he sat under the Bodhi tree and he meditated for years together and he experienced that Bodhisattva. That's why Gautama became Buddha, the enlightened ones. So similarly, we need a determination, which we call in Sanskrit Ichha Shakti. The more and more you determine, the more and more you have got the power of determination, then your spiritual life, spiritual progress, or the manifestation of the divinity becomes much more easier. So in our day-to-day things, if you see, the manifestation of the divinity from the practical side, it can run or it can manifest in the three channels. One is Ichha Shakti, that is the power of will. Then the other is Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge. And the other is Kriya Shakti. Whatever I know and whatever I've decided to do, once I translate it into action, Kriya Shakti, the power of action. So the divinity will manifest in these three forms. That is Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Now all these mental exercises and all these things, why should I do? Just to attain freedom. If I'm already free person, if I'm eternally free person, then why do I need struggle? Should I struggle? Is it not a tautology? This question may come for all of us, and many times people do ask, "Oh, this is not the even the freedom, the struggle, the bondage and freedom, both are in the Maya realm of Maya, isn't it, Swamiji?" They ask. I say yes. Now the freedom and the bondage both are for the mind, not for the self. This is also we have to be very clear. The freedom, moksha or mukti, and the bandhana, that is the bondage, both are for the mind or for the dualistic, for in this dualistic world, not for the self. Because self was never bound, so where is the freedom for it? Then why should we struggle for all these things? The Ramana Maharshi tells beautifully. Why? Because I cannot keep quiet so that I am supposed to do good things. Naishkarmya, the power of the state of what do you say, inaction. If I can stay all the time without doing anything and keeping quiet or just experiencing the witness, you don't need anything to do, definitely, no doubt. But I can't do that because of my own samskaras or whatever reason. Then the shastras, the scriptures or the saints tell, then better you do constructive action, constructive thoughts, constructive acts. You keep on doing it so that you will not do the wrong things. So why should I suffer? Why should I struggle? If you ask, Swamiji is telling the world is a gymnasium. The world is a battleground. We struggle, we struggle, we struggle, we suffer, we struggle, experience joy and suffering or whatever. All these things, it will make us more and more strong and more going towards the divinity or attaining the freedom. That's what Swami Vivekananda tells. So all of our struggles in the life or in the world is what? To attain freedom. This is one of the greatest statement which we have to keep it in the mind. This as a spiritual aspirant or the person who wants to know the truth, if you keep this in the mind, then everything falls at the place. Sankhya tells beautifully in the Sankhya Karika. Why this Prakriti, the whole creation, the whole universe is there? If you ask, the Sankhya Karika says that it is for Purushas Bhoga and Apavarga. Bhoga means experience. Then Apavarga is what? For realization or for liberation. So for the experience and for the realization, for the freedom, this whole universe is there. Oh, why should I struggle to manifest the divinity, to experience the divinity? So all these dualities, whatever we experience and whatever the sufferings we are undergoing, whatever the exercises, different types of exercises we are doing, everything is for what? It is only to manifest the divinity and to experience the divine and to know my real inherent nature. So I am the free person, no doubt, but the freedom, struggling for freedom and attaining the freedom, everything arises in the freedom itself. That's what Swami says. In freedom, the world rises. In freedom, the world rests, and in the freedom, the world melts away. He says a beautiful political way of explaining, just like water bubble. Water bubble, where it did arise or took birth in the water, where it stayed for a few moments in the water, then where did it dissolve or die in the water itself. So similarly, the individuality was risen in the self, it stayed in the self, and it got merged in the self. Similarly, about the creation also. So the world is a moral gymnasium where we have come ourselves to make strong. So this is what it is, the beautiful one of the tagline of our life we should have. To know oneself, to experience oneself, or to remove the ignorance, which is as a bane, which is a hurdle to understand myself, to experience myself, whichever is there, the ignorance. To remove the ignorance, the world is a one of the wonderful battle ground it is there. Now, the entire creation, every being, animal, bird, human being, everyone is marching towards freedom. So that Swami Vivekananda is telling. How? Even say, for example, if you think of solar system, we have got Sun, we have got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, all these things. We all know that every planet has got its own force, and every planet is trying to pull each other planets. So in that way, because every planet has been pulled and pushed by each other planets, as a result, the planets are in their axis. If not, what is to happen? The planets would have, I mean, clashed each other and would have been probably there would have been birth or destruction, isn't it? So similarly, because of all these things, whatever the pull and push is there, because of this, what happens finally? I become strong. I will manifest divinity more and more. I will experience the divinity. So the whole world, One is thinking that in a negative way, as a pessimistic way, as a bad prison, and get out from that. The positive ways, the world is a wonderful chance, battleground, where we shall fight and we shall experience the divine. I am divine. We shall manifest the divine and we shall help others to manifest the divine. So it is one of the wonderful opportunity, wonderful battlefield where we are all struggling to experience the divine and to manifest the divine and to help others to experience this divine. So Swamiji ends with again bringing the beautiful concept of God. Why do we worship God? He tells because they are more powerful and they're more free than us. That's why we're worshiping the God. So why should we worship God? Because they are more powerful and they have got more freedom than us. And in a subtle way, a sensible way, in a pithy way, he explains the concept of evolution of the God also there. Like God in the tribal religions, if you see, they used to worship the god. Why? Out of fear, and they thought the gods are the rulers of this natural powers: thunder, lightning, rain, fire, and whatever the forest and the mountains and the rivers, whatever the force, natural forces we see, the god is the creator of this, the god is the ruler of this, the god is behind all these things. So the god is more powerful than all these natural resources. So out of fear, they used to worship the god as the ruler of these natural forces. Then when you see Egypt mythology, in Indian mythology, and other mythologies and all, God has created, God is there, and there are different variations and shades of God. Generally, they are good, but at the same time, they are also victim of the human weaknesses, which we all see: jealousy, or maybe fighting each other for power and position, except hatred, unethical way of doing things. All these things we see in the mythological stories in the across the globe. Then afterwards, oh, God is not the victim of this human weakness. He is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. God is complete, we see. Then afterwards, we see God is the consciousness. God exists everywhere. He's not just a mere person. So that again, Swami beautifully explains God of heaven, God in nature, God is nature, God in the body as the indweller, God as the spirit, and I am the God. One is from the society point of view, from the individual point of view, Swamiji is thinking. We used to think initially God is somewhere ruler, is sitting somewhere above the world, above the sky, in the heaven is there and is ruling. Then afterwards, no, God is in the nature everywhere. God himself is manifested as a nature, as this world we thought, or we experienced, we felt. Then God is in us as an indweller, as Antaryami. Then God as the spirit, the self. Then I am that God. There is no difference, essential difference between me and the Supreme Self. That's what Advaita is trying to say. The moment I understand that, I am free. So knowing free, knowing that I am the divine, I am the self, and experiencing that is the ultimate solution for all our problems. That's where Swamiji concludes this chapter, the Maya and freedom. And so bandhana, that is the bondage, and moksha, the liberation, both are pertaining to this world and to the mind. But I am above all these things. That's Swamiji concludes this. Then he brings the next chapter, I think, absolute and manifestation. We shall try to see in the next class. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.